As you approach, the choirmaster's blindfold lights up with a bluish glow. Your lordship seldom comes here without a reason. How can I be of service to you today? Are your ghosts? You put me in a trance with Cabela. How are your ghosts, Wise? The choirmaster looks away embarrassed. The mistake of the past no longer haunt me. Not in my dreams or in reality, but I still remember. I remember every single one of them. Can you put me in a trance with Cabela? I need to get inside her mind. Synchronized trance is a complex telepathic practice. Things can go awry unless both participants trust each other and have a strong spiritual connection. However, I can sense that you do. I would be honored to be your guide during the ritual, Lord Captain. But remember, it is easy to get lost in another person's thoughts, and the fears of others house monsters. I am prepared for the risk. Put us in a trance. May the God Emperor aid you, Lord Captain. So we now have to figure out how we can get Cabela out of whatever situation she finds herself in. Somehow put her on a healthier path. Sector Koronus Expanse. Location, the Von Valencia's flagship. Material, the Book of the Dead, the Holy Scripture of the Cult of the Bloodspun Web. Author unknown. A shackled mind cannot comprehend the wisdom contained herein. Therefore, repeat, he is death. Release your breath with each word. Cleanse your thoughts. He is death. Truth lies in death. Free your soul from the body's cage. Become nothing. He is death. Now that your heartbeat is a perfect line, and your vision is shrouded in dust, you have almost reached a state of purity and balance. Heed. No human will see death before their time. That is the delusion of the living. Heed, to which we say, a strong spirit can travel there and make the journey back. Heed the tale of the great Domin Ignatius, who descended into the kingdom of the dead to retrieve his shadow. He is death. Birth and death are one. We are snatched from a place of warmth and sent blood-covered into an unfamiliar world. Dying is the same. The Domin too learned this as he opened his eyes and found himself on the lower decks, lying in a cold coffin. He beheld his ship drifting through nothingness, an adamantine giant's corpse, a skeleton moaning from the winds of entropy. A tempest of rust was gnawing at its plasteel bones and twisting its vein-like cables, while machine oil oozed down its bulkheads like lymph. Had the Domin been alone, he would have lost his way inside the ship's mangled bowels, but a guide reached out a hand to him. The spirit of old Veni Zachary had loyally followed the Domin to the other side. In the labyrinth of the hereafter, the piercing gaze of Veni Zachary discerned the thorny path of the hall to the halls of death. The loyal servant swore to protect his lord. Together, the Domin and the Veni made their way up through the malformed frame of the ship. From the cold catacombs of the lower decks, they traveled up into the fires of the ship's crematorium. Tongues of flame licked at them, yet they did not burn. Columns of the dead marched towards them to be turned to ash in fire, and the Domin and Veni walked toward the dead in turn. At the great gate of the crematorium, their path was blocked by the executioner, a sentinel made of metal spikes and coiling blades, with roaring flame and pale, bleeding bodies writhing within. Such is a blade that has lost the strength of the tenants, a murderous monster no longer driven by faith, but by dark desires. The Domin saw the fight was inevitable and struck the first blow, aiming for a weak spot, trusted in his nimbleness, and tried to slip past the monster, or banish the monster with a fervent prayer to the Emperor. Were you rolling these checks? I guess the plus 60 helps. I don't think our awareness is 137. Is this using our... No, this can't be using our party's rolls because they would have much higher checks. I guess we'll use awareness. It is our best. We've got 100% on all of them anyway, but aiming for a weak spot, striking the first blow does feel like us, as well as a fervent prayer to the Emperor. We'll go with the awareness. The blades and spikes fell, clanging and turning to rust, for bloodlust weakens the blade, and the Domin had proved as much. And a card of his tarot appeared in the Domin's hand. It was the God Emperor. and the first doubt was dispelled. He is death. He is death. Beni Zachary led the Doman out of the hot furnace of the crematorium, and they walked past the columns of the dead. Frayed was their attire, their bones scraped against their augmetics and scratched their decrepit flesh. They were moaning sorrowfully, and the sound was made memory fade away. The Doman saw that the dead were carrying an ark, and inside the ark was a thing, a lost child cocooned in silk, shedding crimson tears for the unknown. The unliving carried her, as servants would carry their lady, and loudly lamented their fate. Such is a blade, mired in broodings over a lost past, a helpless child paralyzed by regret. Lest he sink into the soft rot of their wails and perish, the Doman sternly ordered the apparition to vanish, pressed onward, pushing the dead away with his strong arms, or spoke gently to the lost child. I like this option, even though we don't have 100%. Spoke gently to the lost child. I think I'm going to roll it, even though I'm going to be so upset if we get the 5% fail. We succeeded, and the lost child's tears were dried, and with a meek sigh, she returned to nothingness. For mercy too can be the blade that brings peace. And a card of his tarot appeared in the Doman's hand. It is the star, and the second doubt was dispelled. He is death. He is death. And the old Veni led the Doman to the upper decks, and the Doman entered into the officers' chambers. A web of veins adorned the walls, entangling the precious trophies, and statues were bound in intertwining sinews. And high upon the balcony, the dismembered judge wailed as he attempted to reassemble himself with his pale hands, but his movements merely tightened the tangle of the flesh, turning the chamber into a snare. Such is a blade tangled and trapped in misunderstood teachings, a hapless creature that does not know its place in the world. In order to continue on his journey, the Doman helped the judge by returning each of his organs to their proper place, attack the obstacle of flesh in his path, tearing it apart and destroying it. Or Lore Warp studied the tangle of flesh for secret signs that would show him the way. We will use Lore Warp. And the Doman read the words and spoke them, and the judge's body began to rebuild itself to a new design, as beautiful as it was terrifying. For nothing is impossible when a soul has grasped the hidden wisdom. And a card of his tarot appeared in the Doman's hand. It was the rogue trader, and the third doubt was dispelled. He is death. He is death. The flagship's bridge was draped in skulls and webs, and pale souls of the dead flocked to the foot of the throne upon which sat the undying emperor, the protector of mankind. May his praises be innumerable. Starlight shone coldly in the eyes of his skull, and the galaxy rested in his mighty hand. The Doman approached his throne and went down on one knee, offering a prayer to him, greeted him with pride and dignity, or spoke brazenly, demanding that he vacate the throne belonging to the Doman. No, no, no. We will go down on one knee, offering a prayer to him. The Undying One heeded the words spoken to him and lowered his brow of bone, acknowledging that he had heard the prayer as he had heard the Doman's other prayers before. Then the Undying One spoke, and these words are to be preserved in your heart as the greatest of prayers, for they sprang from a source that was and is the holiest of all things. I know you, Doman, I know your heart, and the fervent faith that dwells within it. I know your readiness to serve me, and I accept it. Your spirit has been weighed and found worthy. The Undying Emperor, may his praise be innumerable, said no more, and it was the Doman's turn to speak. And speak the Doman did, saying that he had come to find his shadow and rescue her. The skeletal fingers stirred, and the Doman's shadow loomed out of the darkness beside his throne. She was bound in black chains and asleep. The Undying One was silent. Now was the time to offer a payment, as death would give nothing away without payment in return. And the Doman promised the Undying One, if we had Iconoclast Fanatic, we could choose that. Himself and his soul. The life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One, that he would honor him with a sacrifice of myriad lives, or heretical, to spare him from ruthless execution if he surrendered the Doman's shadow at once. No. Interesting that this doesn't have a requirement of being a certain level. It's just a heretical choice that anyone can choose. 'Cause 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 I'm gonna go with the life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One. I don't know. I'm thinking about that, and it's because I have people on my crew that are considered to be against the Imperial Code. But do they call themselves enemy of the God Emperor? And I think the answer is no. The life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One. I mean, there is the himself and his soul. Like, we've already offered ourselves to the God Emperor. We are dogmatic. So that's fair. I don't think that would immediately kill us, because then the game ends, which seems like a silly choice. But no, we'll go with the life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One. Those were true words, for he valued his chosen servants, who accomplished incredible feats and brought him great trophies. The Doman was one of them, by nature, and this was known by all. Then the Undying Emperor leant over the Doman and drove a skeletal finger right into his heart, and he pulled at the scarlet thread of his soul, and the thread trembled, stretched to the limit. It was then that a revelation came to the Doman. A life must be paid for a life. And a name was revealed to him, Naki Erebis. That was the life the Undying One demanded as payment. I don't know that name, so I don't know who I'm agreeing to kill. That was the life the Undying One demanded as payment for, and the Doman agreed to pay the price. Who is Naki Erebis? Agreed to pay the price. An oath of blood was sworn, and the chains fell from the Doman's shadow, yet she remained silent and motionless, for she saw no sense in leaving the halls of death, to which the Doman told her that he had been waiting for her, had missed her, and had come to claim her and keep her. Reasonable. That her duty to the Undying One and the Doman had not yet been fulfilled. That in beholding death as one of the living, she had received a gift of unparalleled greatness. That her congregation was suffering without her protection and the Undying One's mercy. She is our romance option, so I'm going to go with I've been waiting for her, missed her, and had come to claim her and keep her. And the eyes of the Doman's shadow opened, and she replied that she too had been waiting and had missed him, and that the Doman should claim her and keep her. He is death. He is death. The Doman in his shadow left the bridge of the Undying Emperor. May his praises be innumerable, and their path was strewn with his tarot cards. Among them, the Doman saw the card of the Executioner, who carried out sentences and brings a violent end to that which he did not begin. Among them, the Doman saw the card of the Lost Child, who was torn from her roots and her support, but carries within her the still hidden seeds of a promise to recover them someday. Among them, the Doman saw the card of the Judge, who weighs and separates guilt from innocence and passes his verdict. And they descended into the lower bays, lay down in a stone coffin, and closed their eyes. And the Doman heard the Undying Emperor's voice promising that they would meet again, and soon. And thereupon their journey ended. And so it was that the Doman, having seen death before his due time, traveled there and back to bring us these tidings and wisdom. Be free of doubt as you walk among the threads of the blood-spun web, for those threads lead to him, as does all of existence. He is death. He is death. As the shock of another's mind's jumbled thought stops constricting your throat, you find yourself staring at Cabela's pale face. It has settled into a strange expression. Doman Ignatius? I spoke to the Emperor. Look at the choir master. Are you well, Cabela? Do you remember what happened? How we met death? I spoke to the Emperor. That was not the Emperor, Lord Captain. It was merely Mistress Cabela's vision of him, a figment born out of her imagination. Alas, none among my fellows are powerful enough to bring you the voice of the protector of mankind. Alright, that's fair then. Let's look to the choirmaster. Breathing heavily, the choirmaster covers his face and whispers, "It is over, Lord Captain. We are in the world of flesh again." Are you well, Cabela? Do you remember what happened, how we met death? I remember stumbling. I remember my doubt in the truth of the tenants throwing me off my feet. I remember deciding to kill, and not because I had heard his whisper, but because I deemed it to be right. Death whispered my name, for a spinner without a thread is like a sky without stars. They would drown in their own soul's darkness. But you have reminded me of who I am, and that my shameful weakness must be extinguished. Well looks away. This Naki Erebis is the payment the Undying One demands, the price of redemption, the price of freedom. Who is this person? Where are they from? I do not know. Help me find them, Doman. Your factotum oversees archives that contain many names. Let him find the one that death has spoken, and I will pay the price that was set. For I feel with all my essence, the death of Naki Erebis is the key, the answer to my questions. Yeah.
Follow my lead.
Don't know who that is, but I guess their name has been spoken. Let's head back to the bridge and talk to the factotum. Although their name was spoken by the Emperor, but it wasn't the real Emperor, it was her vision, her view of the Emperor. So does that make that name truly someone worthy of death? I don't know. Alright. High Factotum. High Factotum Janris Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? I must locate someone named Naki Erebis. Find whatever information you can. Erebis, the clan name is familiar. If I may ask your lordship to give me a little time, the flagship's archives being as vast as they are, I will spare no effort in finding Naki Erebis as soon as possible. 15 minutes, that is not long. High Factotum pokes a triumphant finger at a data slate. I found them, your lordship. The Erebis family are a lesser Voidborn clan. They serve in the boarding teams for many generations, spilling blood in the name of the dynasty, in the service of her ladyship, Theodora. Erebis has displayed impeccable heroism on several occasions. Unfortunately, the clan was all but wiped out 2 decades ago during a confrontation with enemies of humanity. For their valor and sacrifice, Lady Theodora granted the surviving members of the clan noble estate privilege and the right to settle on the capital world. It is not common for the Voidborn to settle on a planet. What about Naki Erebis? Yeah, it's not common for the Voidborn to settle on a planet. Gravity is merciless to the Voidborn, but that does not mean that they are incapable of adapting to it. Living on the capital world is a reward worth putting in the effort for. And what about Naki Erebis? The name Naki appears in reports. At least a dozen different women bore it over several centuries, but there is no data on any living person with that name. The head of the Erebis family will likely have more information about the past 2 decades of their clan's history on Dargonus. Then I must go to Dargonus. I will send the dynasty's representatives on the capital world an instruction to summon the Erebis family to the palace. Contact the Curiosity Merchant from Dargonus Palace. A cyber beast needs new equipment. Probably not. I shall await your instruction, Lord Captain. Okay, so we need to go to Dargonus for her mission. Let's talk to her at the moment if we can. While she's still sorting herself out, probably.
Take heed, Nemo.
Nope.
Our blessed Domin. Maybe.
Nothing new. So we finished what was going on with Cassia here. Where is Dargonus? Dargonus is up here, right? Yeah. So we could travel to here in a few jumps. Or probably just head up that way rather than trying to get here and then take the safe route. So we'll make this path safer. Alright, we've read that one before. And up to Dargonus. Yep, usual team seems good. Cabela is obviously coming with us. Is this the way to the palace? Yes. Maybe. I mean, normally we start so close. Normally we start basically in the palace. So it's weird that the quest had me start outside the palace. At least when I clicked on the icon the quest was tied to. Okay. I guess let's just head up. We probably need to talk to you, as usual. Your lordship, I have been told that you summoned the Erebis family to your court. Your subjects in question, along with their 4 offspring, have already arrived at the palace. They will attend the reception honoring your return to the capital world. Announce that the reception is starting. I am ready to receive the Erebis family. As you wish, your lordship. Yeah, same team. Your lordship, allow me to introduce the next guests. Protectors of Dargonus from the void beyond, between the stars. Randor and Xioni of the House Erebis, along with their heirs, Mattis, Lorno, Rono, and Lumi Erebis. Glory to the dynasty. Officers Randor and Xioni Erebis both make the signs of the Aquila, reverent expressions on their battle-scarred faces. Beside them are their children, raised to love the God Emperor. They are mild-mannered, but fascinated by their new surroundings. Judging by their uniforms, the 2 eldest children are already members of the Dargonus Planetary Guard. Your lordship, it is a great honor for House Erebis to be invited to your palace. There's a glimpse of distinct anxiety in Randor Erebis' eyes. Xioni touches her husband's palm ever so slightly, gives him a reassuring nod, then addresses you. As a token of our greatest reverence for the Von Valentius dynasty, allow me to present you with a modest family relic of the Erebis clan. May it serve you faithfully. Voidborn's pride. Whenever the wearer kills an enemy, their Medicae increases by +20 until the end of combat. Stacks. Okay. Just no limit stacking Medicae. And I think she has abilities, as well as Pascal has abilities, that increase based on Medicae. How is House Erebis faring on Dargonus? We are delighted by the favor shown to us, your lordship. Life on the capital is much calmer and slower compared to the ship, and I have almost gotten used to the gravity. The prosthetic supporting Randor's spine creaks under his clothes as he attempts an awkward bow. I mean, there's still gravity on ships, isn't there? Like, I recognize you're Voidborn, but surely, I mean, it might be lesser gravity, but fact that you need prosthetics to support your spine due to being unused to gravity feels weird. Cabela whispers just barely audibly. A crowd the domain's attention, and this being their first visit to the palace, they are nervous. You must give these people time. Let them get accustomed to these surroundings and to your presence. Let them wander around the hall and taste the food. We will talk to each one individually. As the Erebis' parents notice a blood-spun web cultist at your side, they exchange glances. An almost imperceptible tension hangs in the air. Are you finding the reception to your liking? It is beyond all our expectations. We could not have dreamt of something like this, to be honest. Even just permission to settle on Dargonis and continue our service on the dynasty's capital world was a most gracious gesture on Lady Theodora's part. We did not expect any further attention. Zeone smiles gently, but her fingers are fidgeting with her heirloom pendant. Let's enjoy the evening. Join the guests. We will talk later. Of course, your lordship. We are available for you at any time. Hello, Randor Erebis. Or Zione Erebis. Your lordship, allow us to thank you once again for the honor. Though we left the flagship a long time ago, it is a pleasure to be in the presence of a Lord Captain again. Zione looks at you with a pensive, unblinking gaze, her eyes darker than the night sky. We realize that your attention to House Erebis was brought on by some manner of circumstances. Please, let us know how we can be of service to you, and we will do what you require. A keen observation. Randor's eyes meet Cabela's as she speaks, but he is not intimidated. On the contrary, the corner of his mouth curves upward slightly, and he gives a respectful nod. Tell me about the Erebis family. Sadly, we are but a shadow of what was once a much more numerous clan. Most of our kinspeople fell in combat, but we believe the Erebis' last battle is yet to be fought. We raise cohorts of successors. We teach new recruits and our own children the ins and outs of void service before they have even set foot on board. The new generation are learning to serve in their own way. Our eldest son, Mattis, is on the planetary guard. So is Lorna, our eldest daughter. No, Mattis wasn't the one. What was it? Nakai was the name. Mattis was one of the sons that's here, that's why the name's familiar. So is Lorna, our eldest daughter, though she has devoted herself to medicine, and to my great surprise and elation, our younger children, Rono and Lumi, have found their vocation serving the God Emperor and the Ecclesiarchy. Do you remember Theodora well? I won't lie, your lordship, we never saw her in person. We did not have the rank. Even her favor was bestowed on us in the form of a document penned and delivered by a scribe. But we remember her orders, and they were reflective of all the courage and fervor of a true rogue trader. I'm not going... So... we were told that we should wait and go slowly about this, so I'm not going to immediately ask them about Nakai. Enjoy the evening. We'll talk to a few others first. May the Golden Throne protect you. Talk to the other children and see what's going on, or if they have anything of interest to talk about.
None shall stand in my way.
Hey, Mattis. Your lordship, Senior Lieutenant Mattis Erebis at your service. The tall, dark-haired man enunciates sharply as he salutes you with great fervor. Breathless from his own audacity, he blurts out, I hope I don't sound too bold, but if I say I've always dreamt of serving on your flagship, would it be too much of a modest servant of the dynasty to hope that the Lord Captain might graciously make him part of his crew? Cabela's soundlessly appears at your side. Her face is reflected in Mattis's dark eyes. As their gazes meet, they both freeze in astonishment and lower their heads. If Cabela had had enough to eat growing up, if she had not put her body through grueling trials, if she had not used intoxicants during the cult's rituals, you might have said the two bore quite the resemblance to each other. Is Cabela part of their family? Now part of me is wondering, is this task to kill someone? Like, if Cabela was part of their family tree, maybe that is her original name? Yeah, is she Nakai? That's what I'm wondering. Was the task we were given to still kill her anyway? I don't know. Or some close family member if we find out that it's not her. Mads looks away first. Pardon my tactlessness, mistress. He clears his throat. I have the strangest feeling that we have met before. Cabela takes her time to reply. You were born on a world and absorbed a hive sense. I would have remembered someone who smelled like that. I do not know you. Do you believe yourself fit to serve on the flagship? I appreciate the fervor, but my ship has no shortage of skilled warriors. Do you believe yourself fit to serve on the flagship? I have served dutifully in the planetary forces, your lordship. Governor Drivestem has even awarded me a medal for defending the southern hive against the xenos. I may have been born on a gravity-bound world, but my heart belongs to the void. So your reasons are your own unflinching courage and your love of the stars? There is another reason, your lordship, but I'm afraid you will find it laughable. You see, I've always known my destiny awaits me on the flagship, because ever since I was a child, I've had the same dream over and over. A dark-haired young woman walking barefoot along the decks, and me following in her footsteps. I would run, but could never catch up to her. Yeah. Might be symbolic. Kill her old life, or humanity, become a weapon. Could be. My father told me he had felt something of this sort when he met my mother. Mantis's eyes are taking Cabela's features. He smiles sadly. I believe my future awaits me there. I have no problem with you coming on board. Very well, I accept you into my service. This is truly an honor for me, Lord Captain. I will not let you down. Glory to House von Valencius. Let us go, Cabela whispers softly. I have heard and seen all I need to. Also, you should be following me. And these are the remaining 3. You're pressing down too hard on your quill, Lumi. Look how thick your lines are. And the ink hasn't dried. Mother will be livid when she sees this stain on my cuff. Why don't you watch what you're doing instead of lecturing me again? How many times has Master Rogbard said, apply the base colors first, and then the darker shades? The Erebis children are leaning over a sheet of parchment, arguing passionately. A small, finely made box next to them contains quills and a few bottles of ink. Cabela's shadow hangs over the young Erebises. Her unblinking gaze carefully studies the unfinished drawing and grows gloomier still. Your lordship, we are honored to be at the Von Valencius Palace. I am Lorna Erebis. A pale young woman, slightly shorter than Cabela, smooths a lock of her dark hair nervously as she stands between her younger siblings and the spinner. A scrap of parchment must be incredibly special. I see no other reason for your brother and sister to be ignoring the rogue trader. Let's look at the drawing. The parchment is an unfinished family portrait showing the Erebis parents and their 4 children. The young artist's skill is impressive. But your attention is drawn not to the fine lines and shading, but the sketch of a dark figure added in by a still more masterful hand. Our family was once renowned for their courage, but Dargonis has no need for boarding teams, so our parents enrolled Rono and Lumi in the scriptorium to study religious painting. That dark shape in the portrait, you drew it in, did you not, Lorna? Who is it? Lorna purses her lips and looks away. Mother says the Erebis clan has a secret guardian that protects us from the shadows, and I thought it would be unfair to draw all of us, but not them. Silly, I know. Enough! Cabela's cold, raspy voice sends a shiver down your spine. Yeah. Oh, and it just cuts us off so we don't get to ask the family about Nakai anymore. Cabela's cry brings the Erebis family back together. 6 alarmed faces, 6 people standing shoulder to shoulder like a fortress wall, and 1 lone grim figure opposite them. The shadow peers into their dark eyes, the same as her own. Their pale lips, the same as her own. She clenches her fists, ignoring the steel claws that pierce her palms. Enough. I know who Nakai Erebis is. Her unblinking gaze turns to you. So do I. Lie, and so do I. What's going on, or just observe silently? I think I'm fine with observing silently. Nakai. Zioni Erebis looks at Cabela with scarcely concealed fear, but her husband notices her reaction and shakes his head in warning. No! Mattis screams. How could you keep something like that to yourselves? How could you... I wish I'd gotten the context of asking about Nakai. Lorna hugs her younger brother and sister, who cast frightened glances at their parents and the sinister woman with the wry smile. Nakai Erebis. Cabela throws her head back and her laughter resonates through the hall. Nakai Erebis is me. So all this time, Mattis, your dreams were showing you. You mentioned a guardian in the shadows, did you not, Lorna? You lied when you said the Emperor had taken Nakai. They didn't tell us that because we didn't ask. You mentioned a guardian in the shadows, did you not, Lorna? An unseen shadow, a servant of death. Mother called her Nakai, but I knew she was talking to someone she knew. So all this time, Mattis, your dreams were showing you the woman who was destined for me. Not the love of my life, but my sister? Mattis shudders and stares intently at Cabela. I didn't know. Do you remember me? I remember what I was permitted to remember. The tenets of the web, prayers to the Undying One, the names of poisons and intoxicants, the name the Vizier gave me, but you? No, I do not remember you. I do not know you. You lied when you said the Emperor had taken Nakai. We'll assume that we got that information, and I'm sad now that we didn't. We did not lie. We would never have dared. Rander looks over at Cabela, at her dark hair, her scars. Nakai. A few years before Lady Theodora sent our clan's survivors to Dargonis, the Bloodspun Web's Vizier came to our bay. He said the Emperor demanded the next firstborn of the Erebis clan, that he needed a new spinner. 6 months later, we had twins, a boy and a girl, with eyes darker than darkness itself. Zioni smiles tenderly at Cabela. You were born first, Nakai. And with sorrow and pride, we gave the Vizier our most precious treasure, for that is how one honors the God Emperor. Difficult choice, but a righteous and devout one. Yeah. Or were you thinking giving your daughter away to the death cults? Refrain from interfering. A difficult choice, but a righteous and devout one. Most difficult one in our lives, your lordship, but we knew our daughter was alive and serving the faith, and as mysterious and bloody as the ways of this service were, they were ways that pleased the Emperor. So if I'd been born a minute earlier, that animated corpse standing before you today would have been me? Mattis recoils from his parents. But why doesn't she remember anything? Why was she never told? The ritual of releasing the burden. Cabela steps up to her brother, who is so completely like her, and yet so thoroughly different. New Bloodspun Web recruits undergo it in order to forget their past and devote themselves to the Undying One, and so that their souls do not suffer. Tell me, Mattis, is your soul in pain? It only hurts because I never knew you all these years. Cabela turns to you sharply. We are here to settle our debt to the Undying One. We now have the name, the person, and the explanation. I know what must be done, so why do I feel pain from an unseen wound in my heart? Why am I, for the first time in my life, hesitant to sever a thread? All this time I've been wandering in the labyrinth of my mind, but the answer never came to me. What must I do, Doman? How do I end Nakai Erebis? Nakai is of the past. When those who remember her die, she will die too. In other words, kill the family. Not really thinking that's the right call. Reckon with the past by spilling the blood of those who betrayed you. Do they still hold Nakai in their hearts? Then tear them out. So again, kill the family. No. You cannot kill your past. You can destroy the people who are connected to it, but are you truly prepared to murder innocent people just to cut yourself free? I do not kill on others' orders, neither should you kill Nakai. You are Nakai Erebis, the Emperor's will is clear. For the choice is yours and yours alone, you are the Undying One's spinner. I don't like really any of these. Like, I can understand her separating herself from that whatever life Nakai Erebis had, but the idea of somehow killing all of these people will somehow free her from being Nakai Erebis doesn't seem right. But killing herself also seems poor. I was hoping there would be a just cut yourself off from that past view. Maybe give up on the humanity that she had been heading towards and re-embrace being a weapon and nothing more. Killing them would kill her soft side that made her drift. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with 3. There is also the idea that what the astropath told us, that we didn't speak to the Emperor. We were just speaking to her view of the Emperor. And therefore what he said is not necessarily the Emperor's will. It's her view of the Emperor's will. And therefore, killing people based on that. I'm going to go 3. You cannot kill your past. You can destroy the people who are connected to it. But are you truly prepared to murder innocent people just to cut yourself free? Which I guess is kind of going down the same option of don't kill Nakai. Turn against what we promised death we would do, which isn't great, but I hate all of these choices. Cabela, dismayed, looks first at the Erebis family, then at you, then at her own reflection in the steel of her dagger. I will not kill. Must I follow my orders when my entire nature shrinks from it and my heart screams is wrong? This is not my will. I could have had a family and a future full of righteous service, a chance for a different life. That was taken from me. Who I would be and how I would serve was decided for me. She clenches her fist. The Vizier forged me into a weapon and stained it with blood. He named a mark. He gave a mission. Come, Domin, we must descend into the Temple of Death, where I will report on my task and ask the Vizier a single question. Why me? You have grown into a fine woman, Nakai, and though you may be lost now, I know the Emperor will point you right. We are proud of you. The corners of her eyes twitch as though she is in pain. My name is Cabela. Yeah, just telling your parents I'm not Nakai anymore. You know, don't call me by that name. Where's the doorway out of here? Go over here. Nice plotline. Yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes. But the fact of the matter is we didn't kill Nakai Erebis, so not sure how that's going to end up shaking out. Love that you hate the choices, hard choices. Yeah. The game is good at it. Which is, you know, what makes a game good. If everything was just a simple right versus wrong and they give you choices, but it's just, there's no real decision to be made, or so many games that don't really have real choices. It's just different versions of yes or different versions of no that they give you an option to choose. Like, it's not as interesting as when, I guess we can't go down to, okay. Maybe we just talk to Cabela. The fact that they are making quest lines where there aren't any great answers, because often in life there aren't good choices. Like compromise,
Take
no,
heed.
you don't automatically win.
Our blessed Domin honors us with a visit. The one who delivered this ark from the curse of your existence.
I am ready. Let us present ourselves to the Vizier.
Come, Domin.
With ominous resolve, Cabela drags a steel claw down her face, leaving behind a line that splits it in half. She steps forward without another word.